This week on Fade to Obsidian, we are discussing chapters 56 through 60 of Lightbringer. We recommend that you have read up through this point in the book. Please note that we will be discussing violence, death, and use some bloody damn strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome, everybody, to Fade to Obsidian, your podcast about Red Rising ships, relationships, and spaceships. I'm Skipper, joined as always by Crescent, and joined this week for the first episode of 2024 by Allegro. Welcome,
Hello.
Allegro.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for
I'm
coming
glad
on.
to be here. First episode of 2024. It's all downhill from here. All right.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
downhill means easier.
Let's hope so.
True.
Before we get into 2024, who are you? Why are you Allegro? And what are you doing
I
tonight?
ask myself that. Well, I ask myself that question all the time. No, I'm Allegro because that's a musical term for anybody who's not familiar with music. It means like bright and fast and that kind of stuff. And I think when I got my I remember when I got my den name, I was in the middle of doing a choir trip because I'm a part-time choir teacher, part-time English teacher, or not part-time, full-time English teacher. And so I was texting the general chat being like, oh my God, these kids are going to make me light myself on fire and just all this stuff and talking about choir. And then it was like, oh, well, here we are. You're Allegro. And I was like, you know what? I'll take it. That's a cool name. So that's who I am. And then I did a lot of drinking over the holidays, so I'm keeping it light tonight. I've got a Riesling in my little fish. I don't know if you can see it. Fish wine glass.
Cute.
I thought that was
Nice.
relatable to what's going on. And then I saw this in the
related things today.
Yes. And then I saw this in the liquor store, and I don't know what the brand is, but it's a cat Riesling brand something. I don't know.
That same,
but it's mine now.
It's the same brand. And I have still the bottle, but it's a red bottle, so I don't know if it was a Riesling or like a different one, but I have that same bottle, but just in red. So there you go.
Well, I saw this in the store and I was like, you know what? I could keep this and turn it into like a flower pot or something. So that's worth the purchase.
Love it. Love it.
So,
Crescent, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking Talisker Storm. Because a daddy is nothing before the storm.
Oh, there you go. I kind of ended up making like almost a Salem slurry kind of a thing. So this started as what's called a deep sea cocktail, and it is supposed to be bright blue. For those listening and not watching, it's basically black.
It's not.
Because I said I don't want to use vodka. I want to use rum, and I only have amber or dark rums at the moment. So then I said, it's a double I'm doing. So 2 ounces of rum, 2 ounces of blue carousel, which would make it that bright blue color, except for it just gets lost because instead of pineapple juice, I used pomegranate juice, which is purple.
Definitely the same
We're just
thing.
gonna have to
start
think
with
of
P and have a bunch of letters.
Yeah, we're gonna have to think of a new name for this drink or something.
Yes. And then I added glitter, so I will spin it using my Mickey Mouse straw that is now public domain. There is glitter in my drink. What I'm thinking is because they do describe, and I really liked it listening to the audiobook this afternoon. They describe the different levels as different times of the day. We're in twilight, we're in whatever, and then we enter into midnight. So I feel like this is midnight deep sea cocktail is what I'm
perfect.
I think that's like actually used as a description of our sea oceans. Whatever you want to call it.
I don't know. I don't go in submarines. I prefer to stay on top of the water. That means I'm succeeding in sailing if I am as dry as possible. Even when I get sprayed,
you're failing
I
at
don't
sinking.
mind it. Yes, I always fail at sinking. Yeah, I sail on Hamilton Harbor, which is notoriously the most toxic water in all North America, so I prefer to stay on top of it. Allegro, your face.
Your
God.
poor
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Steel
ever
mills,
figure out
they're
what
great.
happened?
To my GoPro that's at the bottom of it?
Yeah.
No, I haven't even watched. There was 2 GoPros, so those who don't know, I did Turkey Regatta back in October, Thanksgiving. It's the last time we sail of the year. And I had 2 GoPros out, different parts of the boat. And it wasn't even windy. We were on the downwind, so that's like the chill, like beach charcuterie board and whatever. And just somehow where it was sitting, one of the GoPros was sitting, it got knocked overboard, even though it had stayed in that spot all season, and I think all last season too. And I haven't watched. The other GoPro should actually have footage of it. Maybe I'll right now. I will clip in the GoPro going overboard. You can have right now.
The GoPro went in the water.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, sails, please.
Now, just it flicking off. But yeah, that's at the bottom of Hamilton Harbor. I'm sure disintegrated before it even hit the bottom. I'm sure that's what happened.
Somebody is going to discover that one day, like in the far future, and they're going to be like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? What is on here?
What happened?
You're going to be part of history.
Hopefully they can recover. I mean, GoPros are waterproof, so maybe they can recover the camera. Oh my god, what is it called? The memory card. Who knows? But anyway, back onto water. We do get a lot of water these chapters, I mean, because it's how Patreon divided them, they're interesting that we get the end of a battle, and then the meeting of Athena and going under the water. But before that, my favorite part, and we'll talk through it more, but we get the Leviathan glimpse. We get a few different cool things. So I'm excited to talk these chapters. There's some great stuff in there. Yeah, we can right now. What are you wearing? Yeah, merch break right up front. What are you wearing?
This is
right away.
Yeah, Slink's Legio 13 Dracona's shirt. Just lost in books on Etsy.
Yeah.
Go support.
Woo!
Yeah. Go spend all your money.
Yeah, go spend all your money.
Spend all your Christmas money. I've got my Howler's Den shirt on, or sweatshirt. I gifted. This is my Christmas gift to myself. Yes.
I should update. I'm still using the old logo on this one. We should flip it. But I love it. Super soft.
Yeah. It's new year, new logo.
Super soft.
New year, new logo.
I guess so, yeah. I kind of miss the old one, but this one is super sleek, you know? And every time I wear it, people are like, what is the Howler's Den? And I was like, oh my god, let me tell you about this story.
Sweet summer child.
Yeah. Perfect.
Also, as previously discussed.
Oh, you have the Rose Garden sweatpants on. He's in gray sweatpants. Straight to the Rose Garden. You're making a lot of people happy wearing those. There you go. And then my shirt.
Sign up for the Patreon.
For the OnlyFans that we once attempted to sign up for and failed, and I haven't gone back to do. Turns out they need both of our permission to do it, not just mine. For the record, I would like to state it was a joke just for bottle licks.
Completely a joke.
It's going to be, if the OnlyFans runs, it will be bottle licks. We just don't do it now. Don't give it for free. I mean, you give it for free every episode. Every episode.
Multiple times.
You know, I'm not part of the Rose Garden in particular, so all of this is out of context for me, but I'm living for it. I support it, you know. Have a good time, I guess. I don't know. Let me have some more wine first.
Yeah. We'll get into it. My shirt is not one of our things, but it is off Redbubble. So it is a kraken pretending to be the Loch Ness Monster, and I figured kraken plus Loch Ness Monster
that's amazing
equals Leviathan is where I'm going with that. It is off Redbubble. and all of our merch is off Redbubble. So you can order this shirt and Fade to Obsidian merch. Look at me go. See? Wrapped it up together.
In the same cart.
In the same cart, and they will
same
ship
Same
to you
cart.
the same thing, because that's
And
how
it's
Redbubble
all
works.
and it's all produced locally to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or as locally as it can get.
Yeah.
I love Redbubble so much.
So great.
Iconic.
Yeah.
They give me all my stickers.
Yeah, I love their stickers because
Amazing.
you get sticker deals. Like, you can show up and just get like one Fade to Obsidian sticker, and then go somewhere else and get like a ton other Red Rising or whatever you feel like stickers. And then the more you purchase, you get discounts. So it's great. It's great. So if you're perusing Redbubble, check us out. But also just like have fun with it. There's so much on there. Yeah. All right. The other thing,
This is the earliest merch break we've ever done.
I know, we're like straight into it. We skipped over what I was actually going to start the episode with, which is that we are in 2024, and that means we have technically not recorded for a full year, but we've been a podcast idea, I will say, for a full year now.
So we have.
Yeah. I looked up the exact dates, and on December 30th is when the Fade to Obsidian joke came from Crescent, in which someone said it was Fade to Black, and he replied with, I think you mean Fade to Obsidian. And then December 31st is when we decided, kind of half jokingly, that we were going to create a podcast. And on June...
That's how all the best podcasts start.
It was like a total
can't joke about doing anything in the den.
No,
exactly.
Otherwise, you're doing it.
Yeah,
so true.
So that was December 31st, and I think we had already... It was 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, but I think we had probably all been drinking because we had been celebrating, like, European New Year. And January 1st, there is a whole bunch of people saying, when can we expect the first Fade to Obsidian episode? So I think we started February is when the episode started coming out.
We did. Yep.
We have been the
same month as the read-along.
Yeah, so we have been an idea of a podcast, a plan of a podcast for a full year now. Yay.
Yeah.
Aww.
And we have far more episodes than one a week.
Yeah.
That is true.
We've got a bunch of special ones. If you're in the Patreon, you got a whole bunch. Like, we're killing it. Did we miss our 50th
If we do
episode?
say so ourselves. Probably.
I'll have to look. I'll have to figure out which one that is. But yeah. And we're still going. We have lots of new plans coming up.
Don't forget to check out our Google Docs sheet.
Yes.
Where you can submit ideas for episodes for further down the line.
There's another one that snuck in there, and I don't want to give it away on here, but Kristen will message it. It's real good. And I will say it's from Jabs. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I know it's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
He's immediately going to go look at this right after this. He's going to be like, oh.
Well,
I'm just going to wait for Skipper to message me.
Yeah, I will just like screenshot it. There you go. He doesn't check things. That's me. But yeah, go sign up because it's funny. So we're going to do the end of Lightbringer. Obviously, we'll finish out this book. And actually, just so that people are aware.
It'd be hilarious to just stop.
Right now. This is it. We're done with Lightbringer, and we just want to immediately move on to other things. It'd be great. But for recording, just so people are aware that the next few episodes are probably going to be recorded so quickly together that people will not have listened to the previous episode. We will know what's happening, but just in case people are wondering of like, that was mentioned before, you dropped that. We're just on a current scheduling cycle that we're going to do a whole bunch of them and then take a break. But
we're just doing a speed run.
Yeah, we're speed running it. And then we get pretty much like all of February off while you guys still get to listen to us, and we'll be back March recording regular. And like, so March, we know one episode for sure that's happening, and I won't mention it because it is spoilers for the end of this book. We also have discussed with our Patreon that we are going to open up out of context which is what we did. If you'd listen to Red Rising and Golden Sun episodes, you get us. We just open the floor and we ask your opinion. So we're doing it a little different. There's going to be a little more structure. So stay tuned for what that looks like at the end of February. There might be many, many sessions of Out of Context so we can get the most voices heard for what everyone's opinion of Lightbringer is. So get pumped for that. Sign up for...
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Sign up for the notifications in the
hang
Howler's
out,
Den.
get ridiculous.
It's going to be good.
Within
it's going to be
reason.
good. Yeah. And then after that, we're going to dive right into some of the relationships. And no one has actually signed up for, like, I was waiting for people to be fighting over, like, Darrow Mustang, Severo Victra, Darrow, Severo. No one has signed up for any. So now is the time, guys. Jump on them before we start.
Cast your votes.
Yeah. And, like, even, like, if you're like, hey, that Red who appears on one page, I think he would have a really good love story. If you pitch it to me, I'm open for it. That one person who's like, that Green who, you know, is just in that background and then loses his life. Pitch me his love story. Or his job on a ship.
Yeah, the one drinking whiskey in the tower.
Yeah. I want to know his backstory. But yeah, so we're open for everything. We've got a lot of time to cover before Red God hits. So let's do it together as we always have. All right, I think that's it. Anyone else have any administrative quarter? We'll probably come up with something else. In this session of
Allegro, you got anything to plug?
Yeah. What's happening?
No.
No.
No. Well, actually, this has nothing to do with anything actually, but I'm working on getting hopefully publish some short stories by the end of this year. So if y'all want to follow me on my writers, Instagram, it's Madeline the Author with 2 E's, like Megan Thee Stallion, Madeline the Author. Nothing's on there yet, but if I want agents to be interested, I'm going to have a lot of people following me. So shout out, plug, that kind of stuff. Nothing to do with the podcast, but
no,
just trying to make it out here.
Yeah. Okay.
Just trying to make it.
We will link below for YouTube as well as however you are listening to this. Google.
And I can send you the link to my account later.
Perfect. That would be perfect. I'm already noticing that my mouth is already blue. We're off to a great start today.
Oh, you blew yourself again.
My full tongue is blue. I'm also nearly finished this drink and it was very alcoholic, so we should get into some chapters before I'm
why we're actually here.
Before I'm 3 sheets to the wind. All right. Well, let's kick it off. We start ours directly in the middle of battle.
Yeah, we are beset by snipers.
Yeah.
As you are.
Yeah.
It happens. You know.
As one does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cassius is on top of Darrow.
As always.
It's very heated.
Yeah.
As always. The fan fiction writers are like, yes.
Yes.
Several people's eyes just went very wide.
To the Rose Garden. Yeah.
You're welcome.
In the middle of melee, we pretty much think we're gonna die at this point because the Obsidian are just so good. And anything, Darrow's really kind of relying on trying to just win them over to his side and like pull the like, I am your demigod, and it's not working.
He's on the struggle bus for sure during this whole battle.
Mm-hmm. But then we get some help. Some
invisible help.
Yeah.
Strange, invisible, mysterious help. Yeah.
That there's like a weird creature as well. Am I understanding that? What is it that Cassius is worried about?
The Kuon Hound?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they actually talk about Kuon Hounds in Iron Gold.
Okay.
When Lysander and Cassius and Pytha and who else? There's some random blue there that I don't know where they come from.
Oh.
But when they're picked up by the Raw, they have Quan hounds. And they're like insectoid dogs.
Yeah. Interesting. Because they do at first think it's the Dust Walkers. And then they realize it's not. They're too small. And they must be Reds. So that's when we discover that it is not Dust Walkers. But that's, I mean, the Obsidian are yelling about Dust Walkers. And then you're mice, right? So it's the Dust Mice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Isn't the Kuan hound though? I don't know if I said that right. I pulled up the Bible. And I think it actually ends up being Severo, does it not?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is
okay.
Severo.
I thought so. I was trying to be like, what is it? Wait, I don't remember that being in there, but okay. Yeah. I'm with you. Okay. I'm here now.
Yeah. So in chapter 20 of Iron Gold is the first time we ever see them. And it says scaled paws and serrated talons scratch the metal deck. I twist myself and see point blank the four-legged Kuan hounds, insectoid canid hybrids.
Ooh.
Yeah, chitinous black shells along their torsos, ripple gray as they move. Spines of needle-thick, translucent hair stand on end on their backs. Damn.
Interesting.
Damn.
Someone draw
Literal
me that.
dogs. Yeah.
Where's our? Where's our book?
I need a visualization of that.
Yeah, I'm asking. I'm requesting.
You know
one
what?
From Joel.
I need another one from Jabs. High quality Jabs drawings.
No, it was not a Jabs drawing. She Googled that. The spider sloth one? She Googled it.
Oh. Well, then I need her to find one. And if she can't find one,
then she must draw it. Come on, Jabs. Yeah, she Googled the spider sloth. But yeah, let's get another. Let's get another. What are they called? Bestiary books going.
That would be really cool.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be so cool.
I think it needs to be the next Kickstarter from Lit Escalates. Just saying.
Ooh, I'd back the hell out of that.
Right?
I would too.
Joel,
for sure.
We're just giving you ideas
pretty
for
much,
free.
Pretty much everything that's got the Burning Book logo on it, I down a cell for.
You.
Like it's problematic.
Yeah. Yeah, your little.
Oh, that looks so cool.
I
haven't seen them in real life yet.
No.
Just on Instagram.
Love it. But yeah, it does end up being Severo, which is like Darrow picks up on it first, right before.
Yeah, Darrow knows right away. He's like, oh, it's nothing new.
Yeah, has to like throw Cassius out of the way because Cassius is like prepped to fight. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Not that person.
Leave alone. Uh-huh.
Stand down. That's my real best friend.
Exactly.
Yeah. I need like a lot in this of the back and forth between Severo and Cassius and who's doing what and like not giving them credit for shit and being like, oh, so they did do the right thing. Oh, so they did the right, like it is. There's a hilarious tension.
Somebody to get on and write some like middle school-esque competition that Severo and Cassius are having where like they're in this corner somewhere and they're like, I'm his best friend. No, I'm his best friend. No, I'm going to prove to you that I'm his best friend. No, actually, I'm his best friend. I just need
notes. That. Yeah, passing notes.
I don't know. This sounds like a short story that somebody I know could write.
Oh.
I might know her too.
Get on that. Get on it.
I'll get right away.
Yeah.
Magnus, write that down. He's my secretary.
Write that down.
Does he have thumbs? Does Magnus have thumbs?
He just keeps it all up there. We communicate.
and then
Meows
help
it back.
dispense it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
meows it back.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, hilarious moment of, Severo comes in to save them, has brought the daughters. So this is the first glimpse we get of, other than Ori, of the daughters and see them in action. And unfortunately, like, see how wicked fast they are. Battle, and then, of course, the Obsidians just can't be held back, no matter what they're
It goes
trying.
really well
Until
for
it
a very
doesn't.
short time.
Yeah.
I think it says, let me pull up the Bible again. Hold on. There was a moment where I was listening to it when I was
The Obsidians can take
running.
a punch, but when they get their teeth in,
Yes,
whether on
that.
air or on land, they never let go.
I was like, dude, that's cold. Damn.
Yeah, their metal is fucked.
They really are. Would not want to see them in real life, I have to say.
No.
I would, from a distance.
That's the right answer.
Or
From a
just
Large
distance.
like
distance.
the ones we know, like Ragnar. Ragnar's just big for
Oh yeah,
giant.
the friendly ones for sure.
A
But
sweet baby boy who just pastes grays against walls with his shoulders.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't see the issue.
it's fine. It's fine. He ends up being a friend. It's fine. We can forgive it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to talk about Ragnar, is Darrow is really trying to use that at this point of,
Oh yeah, he is
as I say,
leaning on that name.
Yeah, of what would Ragnar think, and is this where you want to be? This is not where Ragnar promised. This is not what Sephi promised. What are you doing? Trying really hard to bring them back into the fold by using every, I don't want to say trick, because I think he is being genuine about it, but they all think it's tricks. They don't like
Would tactic be a better word?
tactic.
Like
Tactic
every
is definitely,
thing he
yeah.
can think of. Look, English teacher here.
Oh, look at you. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. I really have been thinking, and I thought about this when I first read it, and when I've really read like Iron Gold and Dark Age and all that stuff, and then especially in this book in these chapters, it reminded me of like the theme of, you know, sort of like the old world is dying, make way for the new. And whenever I was listening to this part, I kept thinking like, I mean, this is such a good example of it, of like a lot of these Obsidians probably, I mean, they grew up with stories of Ragnar, but I mean, it's not somebody that they were necessarily knew. And so why would that, I don't know. I just think that it's an interesting example of like the young having to confront and be like, well, why does this really matter at the end of the day? Why do we really care about this guy? You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I got that a
Definitely
couple
agree.
of times throughout this little set of chapters.
Yeah, so I missed like a large portion of that conversation.
Well, yes and no. So basically, just
Yeah.
to summarize, well, you can summarize, like Allegro was talking about
Yeah. So
Ragnar.
I was thinking about how there's so many, the theme of like the old world is gone, bring in the new world with the new generation. I was saying like it's interesting to me that this is always Darrow's tactic of like, what would Ragnar think? What would Ragnar think? And I guess a lot of this is coming from the perspective of like I work with young people literally every single day of the week, and it's always funny to me because there's so much. I know there's not a lot of year distance, but there's distance between these newer, Obsidians who are growing up and in these battles now compared to the ones that actually fought with Ragnar or trained, with Darrow and all that stuff. And it's like, again, this trend of out with the old, in with the new. Why would we care? You're just throwing this name of this guy around who is a legend, but at the same time, it's like that's not going to hold any sway over us. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, 100%. And the thing
Yeah,
that
100%.
I'm thinking of that will come up later is that it's called out specifically about the daughters and the
Yes,
people
and that's
who,
where I was like,
yeah. So we'll talk later when we talk the daughters of that. But I think 100% interesting, I think, for us as the reader, we know 10 years plus at this point has
Yeah.
gone
Yeah.
past, but it's in a blip. It only took us
Mhm.
2 years to read from Morning Star to Iron Gold, and some people went directly back to back. And when we reread, it's back to back. That forgetting that, especially in a society of soldiers,
Mhm.
people who are 6 years old are now 16 plus,
They're
and
in it.
they're
Oh
in
yeah.
it. They're
Yeah, they
in
are now
these,
fighting
and they
age.
would not have, like, maybe when you're 6 years old, you have some recollection of the Reaper and Ragnar, but even then, like, the Obsidian were shut away. Like, it's not
Mhm.
as if the Republic existed at that time to broadcast Ragnar. Like,
Mhm.
Ragnar
Right.
died before the Republic would have been able to make him this big thing.
Mhm.
So for sure that it makes total sense that some of them would just be like, I don't care. And
Yeah,
even
like
then, like,
Mhm.
well, and some of them even, would they have even worked under Darrow? Because
Exactly. Yeah.
depending, like, if you have a
Mhm.
fresh 18-year-old, if, I don't know, I'm using modern day points of view, if we
Mhm.
think that, like, 18 is when you go off to war, and, like, think about, like, World War I and II, definitely people lied about their age and were like 14 going off to war. So give them, like, let's say soldiers start at age 14 to 18.
Yeah.
Some of these people, if they were too young at that point, would have heard stories of the Reaper. And the Reaper, for sure, and Tiers Morga, as they call him, would know stories, but never worked with him, never worked under him. He was just this
Mhm.
idea, this
Nebulous
demigod.
force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, who are you? And you abandoned us, which again we'll see repeated later.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I
Mhm.
100% what you bring up definitely resonates.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I just had this thought. Let's see if I can recall it because it's suddenly gone like that. Um, no, it's not coming back. I'll remember it later. Just kidding. It was something really
Whenever it comes.
clever
Whenever it
and
comes.
wonderful, and it was so brilliant. And I was going to sound so smart.
Mm.
So we'll
We'll
just
just
have to say,
we'll just pretend like that exactly
Yes.
yeah,
happened,
Ah,
exactly.
yes.
and
Mhm.
we are blown
Obviously.
away.
Oh, such a good
Yep.
point. Such a good point. Oh no, it got cut out in editing. Dang.
Happens all
Sorry.
the time. It's
Uh huh.
because Disney is trying to sue us
Hmm.
for discussing my Mickey Mouse years that are not Steamboat
Exactly.
Willie. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. Crescent did miss that part of the conversation, and so did everybody, so that's what you missed when you were on your call, Crescent, is us discussing
I did
Steamboat
vaguely hear
Willie
something about Steamboat
versus
Willie.
Mickey Mouse and the straw that I'm using.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Basically, we're getting sued.
yep.
Oh, perfect.
This is so
Call Jabs,
sorry.
our lawyer. Also, never mind. I was gonna make a joke, but I won't. Yeah, call Jabs, our lawyer. We're getting sued. But yeah, so yeah, whenever you have that thought, come back to us. But
I
yeah,
will.
I like that. Because, yeah, they're not listening. But even then, I think they don't believe it's him. Like, why would you be here? You were supposed to be in Mars. You were
Yeah.
I
supposed to
just
Yeah,
be.
remembered the thought.
first of all, you're supposed to be dead.
Yes.
Yes. Number one. No, I was thinking this. It just came back to me. Something triggered it. But like, they've been told stories about Ragnar and Severo and Reaper and all this stuff. And how jarring would it be? Is you hear all these battle stories and these glories about that whole group, and then here's a guy who claims to be Reaper, who you thought was dead. He's claiming that, oh no, I'm not. And he's not trying to attack you with violence, but with words too. Like that
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
be very jarring as well, I would say. It's
Yep.
like, oh, hold on, wait, what? I couldn't. I mean, yeah, I'd be freaked out a little bit.
For sure.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Anyway, that was the smart, clever, brilliant thing that I thought of.
Very
It
smart,
was a
clever,
smart,
brilliant.
clever, brilliant thing. Good job.
Thank
We're
you.
blown
It's
away.
part of my brand,
Yep.
just something that I do.
But yeah, and to that end, so they don't listen. They don't. I mean, we will find out that at least one person listens. But I
Hmm.
like that, like, his tactic quickly turns to just steal, and I'm going to screw up all their names. Is it Sigurd?
Sigurd?
Mhm.
Is that who he takes and just holds over the like molten lava? And
That's Skarda.
Skarda, and is like,
Garda.
I got your cap. Pay attention. Look what I'm doing. Anybody? This guy's heavy.
Yeah.
This guy's heavy.
So
Like that's his new. Just like, can you stop and pay attention to me? Like he's just becoming an attention whore of like, look what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
he's
Can
maxes
you not
his
do
volume.
that? Yeah,
Oh my
through
God.
we learned that through
And yeah, chains the
Severo and
speakers
Cassius.
together.
Yeah, and then it's not.
Uh-huh.
They're just ignoring.
It doesn't work. Again, as a middle school teacher, I know that would not work. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. When they're in it, they're in whatever they're in. You can't distract them, no matter how much you
Just
holler.
But then my favorite is it keeps going back to him being like, he's heavy. Like, I can't continue to hold. Like, alright. Good attempt, Darrow. Good attempt.
Just put him in the lava. It's fine.
Yeah. So then we
Just a quick little
have
dip.
one of my favorite lines of the whole book as the Archimedes comes through and we get Cassius yelling, "My girl!"
Yeah, there's my girl.
There's my girl! And Darrow says, I don't know if he's talking about the ship or Illyria. And it's just that, like,
Yeah.
great moment. We get a lot of cutesy moments in this
Mhm.
or in these chapters with them. But somebody is on guns that as much as it's like, and I think it's Cassius later calls out of like, that wasn't flying, that was not crashing. And Larry's like, look what I did!
Yeah.
And he's like, absolutely not. Like, you do not get any, like, so she
You still have to clean the
survives.
ship.
Yeah. She survives, but we know that somebody on guns is absolutely amazing.
I wonder who it could possibly be.
The hilarious
God, there's
thing.
so many
Who knows?
choices.
Right? But the hilarious thing.
Ori is just amazing on the
I
guns.
was reading it today and I was like, I had forgot. This is my third time through, and I was like, wait, who was on guns? It's still a surprise to me that it was Diomedes. I don't know why. It should, like, most people I'm sure read the first time and was like, we have only limited amount of options, and only one of them truly makes sense as, like, a warlord. But my tiny little brain today was like, wait, who is on guns? I don't get it. Who's doing it?
We also have your other favorite line of the book in this section. Darrow is calling out Fa. He's basically telling him, I'm coming for you.
Yes. Oh,
and
yes,
you should
yes.
Expect
me!
That line, I was walking around the lake that's at my apartment building, and I got to a point, and the audiobook said that, and I was just like, and I had to stare out at the lake for a little bit just to be like, damn.
Why don't we have Expect Me merch? I'm pretty sure I've said this
literally
like 4 or 5
that.
times.
How many times have you written it down now?
We're gonna write it down
I would purchase that.
All right. But if we do Expect Me, it can't be me who makes the merch. We'll have to recruit. We'll pay Slink some royalties.
We'll have tryouts.
Yeah. Everybody make us Expect Me stuff. That's how our logo got made. It was basically tryouts. So we're talking 1 year of Fade to Obsidian. This time last year, it was like a free-for-all that we were like, guys, we need a logo. And just everyone in the den who knew somebody or could do, like, was somebody was like, what about this? What about this? And it was 100% a crowdsourced thing. I don't even know the guy who made our logo. It is a friend of Pop Top.
Yeah.
Did
That's awesome.
did both the Wolf Head as well as the War Room one, and there was a whole bunch of different ones that people voted on. So yeah, let's, for our 1 year anniversary, make an Expect Me shirt, and let's crowdsource it and see what people want. That would be great. Cause yeah.
Ooh, I can picture them now. They're beautiful. Good job, everybody.
Good job.
Yes, you've all done fantastic work.
But yeah, Expect Me, my go-to of this whole series. How many times has it been said now? 4? Twice? No, more than 2.
3, I think.
3?
Pretty sure it's 3.
At least once.
At least
What?
once, because it's in Morning Star when he jumps off. I'm pretty sure it's in either Iron Gold or Dark Age. I'm pretty sure it's in one of those two. And then now.
Well, let me. Fine.
Let's go to the ebook.
I'll pretend like I am.
We just check our
I'm
phones while
all
he
over
looks
it.
at it. Yeah. I am
And I'm typing on
almost
my
done
computer.
this drink, and we are
One-
only on chapter 1.
One time in Lightbringer, one time in Morningstar.
It's not in Iron Gold or Golden Sun? Did I just make too big of a deal about it? Is that what's happening? Because we talk
Well, it's
about
going to
it
have to
all the
happen in the
time.
next one.
Yeah.
The perfect trio.
Well, I don't know. It's happened in book 3 of both series.
Ooh, that's a good observation.
Because we had 2 episodes called Expect. We had Expect Me, and then we had Expect Me Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. We have 2 different episodes called Expect Me.
Wow, we can't have any more.
No, we can't have. This is not Expect Me 3. We're gonna have to come up with a different, more clever name.
Dang.
Not now.
We'll come up with something.
What
Expect me
happens?
3. Something.
Yeah, what happens, if people don't know, is I upload all the videos, and usually with the title of Skipper named this one, just in case Crescent doesn't come through in the final hour.
It's always like Monday night
always
or
has.
Tuesday
Yeah, it's Monday night,
afternoon.
and then I'm like, dear God, we have an episode coming out. What's the title name? And he comes through. But all of their work in progress names are Skipper named this one, because that's how I have named a couple of them. Every once in a while, I'll throw one out and be like, "But
I think you can tell which ones you've named.
thanks for that vote of confidence."
It's the good ones.
So supportive.
Thanks. Anyway, yeah, we get Expect Me. And we do know, so then everybody else gets loaded onto the Archimedes. Severo's not happy about it. Has to be told a couple times of the wounded and the civilians. Go get them. And now we have taken, not a hostage, he came willingly, of, who was the one? Sigurd?
It's
Sigurd.
Sigurd.
Yeah, Skarda's son.
Yeah. Oh, there's a cat behind me.
Oh,
A blessing.
Yeah.
This is best of times.
He's chasing a mouse. Classic.
Yeah, so and Cassius is sent to actually fly the ship and take through the volcanoes. We're gonna escape through the volcanoes, which I think is super.
Just a casual mention of the volcanoes too.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's how we're gonna blast into orbit.
Okay, let's be real here for a second. Daryl was holding somebody over lava.
This is
but that got detail. I want to learn. We're going through the volcanoes. Cool. Sounds good. I love it. The casualness, the fantasticalness of this series has gotten to the point where it's just like, yeah, volcanoes.
Yep, I just accept it.
What is it that Cassius says in Morningstar? Like the exponential expectations of life.
Yeah.
There you go. Crescent, you're like an encyclopedia for this series.
I have
you know everything.
That, yes.
What
Encyclopedia Crescentica.
Yeah. Red Cyclopedia? Red.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, boggles the mind, the exponential expectations of life. I used to think Greys were tall. The Castle Mars was not even the size of the engines on a torch ship.
So true.
There's sweet brotherly whiskey bonding moment.
Yeah.
Aw, when things were simple.
Yeah, and then Daryl got to tell him that Octavia killed his entire family.
Yay!
Well, I guess the Jackal, really, but Octavia let it happen.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, he gets to go take over the ship again, and Diomedes gets to go back on guns. I'm pretty sure, right? This is not the thing. Is
Yep.
Darrow's like,
Yeah,
do I still
Darrow's
have your
like, do I
parole?
still have your
Yep.
parole?
Back on the guns.
Well, I mean, he's got to be keeping him there just in case, like the civilians and everybody sees him, right? Because if I were in that situation, I'd be like, "Oh shit, what this? Why is this guy here? Suddenly, this is
Yeah.
not a safe space for me."
That's a good call
So,
out. I never thought of that one. Of like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of had that same thought today, listening through it again. I was like, I forgot that he just like completely hesitates for a second, and I like
because he
briefly
looks
couldn't
out in
remember
the
what he
hallway,
does,
right?
and I was like, does he put him back in the brig?
Yeah.
And then it's, oh yeah, no, he's gonna put him. He's
Keep
gonna
him
put him
there.
where he's useful, but also invisible.
There you
That's a
go.
good call out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we meet. I'm definitely not pronouncing her name
Shion.
right. Shion. Thank you. Who
She's so
is
scary.
interesting.
She's so scary. I would cry.
Yeah. She is a force to be reckoned with. She
Mm-hmm.
is. Actually, I feel like all the daughters, I really appreciate them. Of their
Mm-hmm.
completely different reds. And we will later see that Athena doesn't even identify as red anymore. She's human. But
Mm-hmm.
they are so different than the Mars women we have seen. Like, we know
Thank
Io had a
God.
big personality. But
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, like, Io is the one exception, and the rest, it's kind of these, like, sheepish. Like, even Deanna is like, yep, like, she doesn't really get a personality until her son becomes the largest person in the solar system. These
Mm-hmm.
are women that are right off the top, like, in your face, here I am, like,
Yeah,
fight me,
refusing to
bitch.
shake the Reaper's hand, like.
Yeah. Like, super interesting. And I mean, it's hard. This is, I'll divert back to an Allegro. I don't know if you've heard our interview with Philip from Hail Reaper, where he asked us of the reading as a howler versus reading as an outside. And I feel like you meet, what's her name? Shion?
Shion.
You meet her, and as a howler, you immediately don't like her because she doesn't like Darrow. But as an outside
Mm-hmm.
person, we start to get all of the daughters. It's like, I understand where you're coming from here, but it's very easy
Yeah.
to not like her immediately because she is so rough. She is so harsh to our
Yep.
to our boy, to our main little boy,
Our
and
sweet baby Darrow pants.
our sweet baby Darrow. And yet she has every reason to be. I think it gets
Oh
back
yeah.
to why we
Mm-hmm.
don't like Lyria in Iron Gold, right? Like, but this is almost
Yes.
tenfold
Mm-hmm.
of it, especially now. We're like, we know he's grown. Don't you know? He's no longer the like 21-year-old who blew up the docks of Ganymede. Don't you know? But yeah, I really like her. Thoughts on?
He's
Do you guys have
changed.
thoughts on her?
Do I have thoughts on
Uh,
her?
Yeah.
You go ahead, Crescent. Sorry, I zoned out
no,
for a
you
second.
go ahead. That's good.
Oh well, I was saying, I'm thinking like I. That's such an interesting, perspective of reading the books as a howler versus just a regular. I don't want to say regular person, but let's be real.
A normie.
Um, God, I hate that word so much. I hear it every day. Okay. Anyways, thanks for the trigger. But that's an interesting perspective because, yeah, I mean, I find her scary just because of like I don't know, the space that she takes up in the couple pages that she is there, and like, not, I don't know if it's necessarily how she treats, our boys, but just her presence is larger than what we're used to when it comes to, you know, red women, I guess.
Yeah.
And so the first time I read it, it took some adjusting. And then as I listened to it this time, I was like, it's taking some adjusting, but I get where she's coming from now in this introduction. And so I thought that was, yeah, she's an interesting, scary character for sure.
Crescent, thoughts?
Yeah. I think they've been well covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel the read it as a read it as a howler. I definitely feel the dislike, like the handshake snub. I'm like, ooh,
Burn.
Dislike. But then yeah, exactly. Like it's like okay, yeah, like you've got a pretty valid reason to like be a little mad at him. He's definitely done some stuff.
Some time.
Yeah,
Water under the
but like
bridge.
Mass
she's
genocide.
she's so self-assured. She's like just does not give one single solitary fuck. It's like this guy could probably just wipe you off the map with his bare hands, and you're just like, nah, I don't give a shit. No, get out of here.
I'd like to see him try.
Yeah. Okay, so to compare her to how we see Lyria in Iron Gold, because that is kind of Lyria's perspective in Iron Gold, is very much a fuck you Reaper, fuck you Mustang. But now we see where we're at with Lyria. She's on his side, and we'll see that later as well. Darrow 100% calls it out of like, she is my audience, and the two of them together, I think that's the interesting part. That I think from Darrow's perspective, when we see Shion, it's like, ooh, okay, little snubby, little rude. But from Lyria's perspective, when she's still, I don't know, does that change something? Like, I'm just trying to think back to Lyria in Iron Gold compared to her.
I think I would have to, because I mean, whenever Iron Gold came out, and I think I've talked about this in the den like once, I started it and then I got to Lyria's parts and I was like, I just couldn't get behind her for some reason, which is so silly now because she's quickly become one of my favorite characters. But that would be an interesting. I feel like in order to answer or talk about that, I personally would need to go back and read, the two books and just like really think about it in that, like how to compare them. That's an interesting question, though. You might have just given me my summer reading list.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
is
boy.
this gonna be one of our episodes?
It's just all of Red Rising again.
Yeah. But should this be
Oh,
one of our
no.
episodes of just the introduction of Lyria versus like introduction of
That would be a
Shion?
good one.
Introduction
That
of
would be
all.
an interesting one.
Actually, I'm gonna push that further and say introduction of all red women. Get EO in there
Yes.
because we
Oh, I
know
would
I
love
don't
that
like
one.
EO. I didn't agree with EO until like the fourth read through. Lyria, I didn't agree with her until pretty much Lightbringer. I was a holdout on Lyria. And
She
then
takes a second.
and then Shion, like, I don't think we ever really, but Shion doesn't get the amount of time. Obviously, EO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a
EO
snapshot.
gets, yeah, Lyria gets the most time, and EO gets the belief. I want to say, like, she gets.
I was about to say, I feel like
She
we know
lives
EO
on.
better as a dream or and as an
Yes.
aspiration than an actual person.
Yeah. But Deanna, so I said, like, Deanna grows throughout. Like, in comparison to, let's say, the Golds, the Gold women, we know who they are from the start. Victra does not change throughout this. We get softer Victra, actually, when Victra becomes a mother. We get grieving Victra. Mustang, the only thing that I don't think she changes ever, but we get her own point of view, but I don't think it ever changes. We just get to see inside her head. So it would be interesting to go through and
that would be a very interesting episode.
Lyria, and Shion.
Write it down.
And Athena. We'll get to Athena in a second.
Yep.
Magnus,
okay, let me write it down under expect me, and we all know that these pieces of paper definitely go somewhere. They definitely Things happen with these
There
VCs.
is no
They
way
have
that they
to.
don't go somewhere.
Listen, this one over here that says Daddy Tree and Pierce is that a reference? So many things have happened with that one.
True. You guys don't even know.
How do I even spell Shion? Never mind. I'm just gonna
CHION.
Just do your best.
C. Okay, it's a C. Sure.
Yes,
We
Cheon. Cheon, not Shion.
Oh, Cheon.
I want to know what that name means too.
Yeah.
Like, does it mean something? It sounds almost Greek, but I don't feel like it is. I don't know. Somebody
Well,
get on that.
I'm googling.
First result, Lightbringer.
Yeah,
Oh,
that might be.
in Chinese, it's the term for
Oh, okay.
sky.
Because the on is very, yeah, Cheon.
Oh, and then I don't know. Oh, what language is this? Is saying cloth or fabric. Korean is cloth or fabric.
Look at that. We learned something new. I don't see how it relates to the character very much, but
Cheon's, I'm sorry, is apparently angel in Korean. I don't think she's an angel, so I'm gonna say
No.
it's not that one.
Didn't it say she was a gasfly?
Yeah.
that might be it. Look at this. Education.
Here's that a reference?
Pierce, is that a reference? Forgot that I needed to make that
Watching
over
all
the
the
holidays.
secrets.
Yeah.
Need to make that a t-shirt.
Yes. But yeah, so we move from Darrow's perspective at this point to Lyria's perspective, and the rest of the time is in. No, then we eventually move back to Darrow, don't we?
Yep.
Because we get us going on the submarine.
We also, before that,
something?
With Sigurd.
we interrogate Sigurd.
Oh, yes. Lyria's being a little wormy.
She's
Sneaky.
naughty.
And I love that Sigurd calls her out of it, of you turned off the cameras, neither of us was supposed to be here, so don't fucking try and push me around. And then she's got a weapon and she's like, watch me. I love
he's
the
like,
head-to-head.
we're on the same side here. I volunteered to come.
I just love it. Lyria's like, look how far I've made it. Look what I've learned. And okay, calm down. You're not Victra. You're not Volga. Calm down.
Okay,
Very
does
fuck
that
around and
ring my
find out.
balls?
Yes, ring my balls, and he just keeps laughing.
Oh.
I mean, can you blame the guy?
Right? So good. Which we do find out that this is, I think, the first time it's mentioned that she speaks. Is it Valarian? Gaul. Yeah, Nagal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it mentions that she's learning it.
Yes.
Earlier.
Oh, okay. But, yeah, she's becoming a little spy. She's really out for it. And just wants to know what's happening to her dear bestie. Where's my Volga? In which this is the heartbreaking part where we learn that Volga is true into it all, has drank the Kool-Aid.
She's beat me to it. Chapter 42. All day I lay in my hiding place with the data pad Mateo gave me, studying Nagal, mind wandering to one thing and one thing only. Food.
Food.
For those of you that don't know, my microphone is now over here, so that's why I'm leaning
he
that
gets
way to
all
get emphasis on
fancy.
it. Yeah, so thank you to our
Patreon. You bought Crescent arm.
Improved my recording setup.
So sweet.
You guys are the
Hey,
best.
Patreon.
Yay. We went on a Patreon shopping spree last month. We did so many things.
With the Christmas deals? There you go.
Yeah, games for them to hang out while we play.
Yep. But yeah, anyway, back to
Sentient
the
corn?
Sentient corn. That's apparently the next thing I'm playing for the Patreon. I don't know. He just told me to buy
Fantastic.
it.
It's terrible. It's amazing.
It's terrible. It's amazing. That's an oxymoron.
It
That makes
cost
sense.
$5, so I bought it.
Then I hope it's amazing.
It was supposed to cost like 21.
It's worth $5. I'll guarantee you that.
We got it on deal. Look how we do this. Anyway, back to Lyria. Yeah, so we find out a little bit more about Volga, and Lyria's not really accepting of it. She's not here for it.
Who would be if you find out your best friend is like turned to the dark side?
Oh.
You'd be upset too. Dang.
I think it's Darrow actually straight up calls it out. Or no, sorry, Severo. Severo
Yeah.
calls it out later. He's like, you don't not believe it though, because you didn't call him a liar. Like, you do believe that it's possible, and you know that it's like cynical Severo. You know, yeah, friends will people will disappoint you. It's like that's a very Severo attitude. I thought you were gonna drink that with a straw.
No.
And I was like, you are in danger.
No. It is worthy rum, though.
Hell yeah.
Oh, there we go.
No, but there's still drink stuck in my Mickey straw. Or Steamboat Willie, whoever we're calling it, so we don't get sued.
No, we can say Mickey. Mickey's in the series. He's actually mentioned in these chapters.
He is! Where has Mickey been?
Is that why you have the straw?
Yes, for Mickey the
Perfect.
Carver. It's for
Wow.
Mickey the
Totally
Carver.
planned it.
We've
Planned
connected
it.
it. It's perfect.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, with my worthy rum. And my skipper doll. Yeah, back to on track. Yeah, it's Sever calls out. I love that later we found out that Sever, like, so Lyria thinks she's sneaky for turning off the cameras. I'm doing this behind Darrow's back. And then Severo is the true mastermind who's like, you've been talking to the prisoner. Fucking no. I'm like,
She's just trying her best. Been thrown into this world and she doesn't know what's going on. Like she's
well
on,
over her head.
struggling. She's like, "Oh, this is really cool," and it's like, "No, it's not because you did it wrong."
yeah.
I feel for her. You know, we've all been in those situations. She just
Speaking of Lyria and Severo's conversation,
Yeah.
Severo's toenails are hooked in the grating.
I didn't want to talk about that.
I didn't pick up on that, and now I don't want to know.
Ooh, let me pour some more of this wine.
It's Darrow actually calls it out like way earlier in the series.
Does that mean Severo's just walking around barefoot?
Yeah.
It says that without grav
Like-
boots.
Yeah,
I guess it is
She
Right?
says
Not grav
he's
boots.
walking around without grav boots, and his long toenails are curled into the grating.
So he also doesn't have socks on? I'm just thinking, like, I walk around my house without... I guess I don't wear socks also around my house, and the
Yeah.
Archie is, like, basically a house.
Not
but
even some slippers
also-
though. You can't have some slippers.
I was gonna say, like, if you're on... Like, if I'm at a hotel, I'm wearing slippers. If I'm on a cruise ship, which is basically, like...
So
Yeah,
This-
you know what? When I sleep on the boat, I would wear socks the whole time. Because other people walk around in their shoes. So I don't want my bare foot.
fair.
Mm-mm.
Fair. But this is not the first time that we have heard about Severo's toenails.
Oh, God.
In
I'm gonna
in
gag.
Morningstar, after Victra calls it off, he says he's an idiot. Darrow says, Severo, you're a lot of things. You're smelly, you're small, your tattoo taste is questionable, your pornographic proclivities are eccentric, and you've got really weird toenails. And he's supposed to look at me, and he says, weird? They're really long, mate. Like, you should trim them. And he literally says, nah, they're good for hanging on to things. So this is a 10 plus year endeavor.
Pierce, I have questions. I have so many
I don't want to know the
questions,
answers.
Pierce.
I don't want to know the answers. Let them be questions. Some things must be questions and nothing else. I'm
Oh my
traumatized.
God.
Lord.
I love
Yeah, the
that setup,
toenails,
though.
I'm
I will
familiar with
say,
about
I will
fucking
give credit
toenails.
to Pierce for that setup of you.
Yep. That's a fucking
Wow.
long con.
I hate it, but like I'll give him credit for it.
Hate but
Fucking hate
respect.
it.
Feel like that's Pierce's niche.
Yeah.
Hate it, but I respect it.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Okay, well, are we done with the interrogation? We'll move on to Severo and Lyria.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty
Um,
much.
I love this conversation. I love that they're looking out.
Yes.
And before we get what they're looking at, because I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on that, as we
You have all
know.
of them.
I just like the moment where Lyria's like they're back and forth of like, you don't talk to me. Well, I don't talk to anyone like useless.
Yeah, I don't talk to deadweight.
And so that's his way of pretty much being like, good job, you saved our ass. He's never gonna actually say
Thank you.
Yeah, you're part of the team now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But like, I just love that. And then, in return later she kind of says, well, I don't talk to bastards. But between that, they get very heartfelt and very we get Ulysses of you were there, what happened. Like very
this part made me so
touching moment.
sad.
It's so sad,
Yeah.
but it's one of the parts that after the book was over stuck with me.
I agree.
Like it's one of my favorite parts because as sad as it is, it's that human interaction and like I love him, still getting that comedy in of cursing out like chatty Bologna or whatever it is, like talkative idiot
Yeah.
Bologna. But they just finally get their moment together, and we see Severo with a heart towards somebody who's not his immediate circle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like it's the whole thing is basically Lyria defending Volga. Like the whole thing is a lead up to her basically telling Severo, like, you're wrong about Volga. Like,
Yeah.
I may not have called him a liar, but I don't believe it. Like, she says Volga would have eaten her gun if it would have brought Ulysses back.
Yeah.
And like, we absolutely know that's true. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Volga was crushed that she couldn't do anything, that she couldn't be there to protect him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love, not to stick on that because I know we're talking about Lyria and Severo right now, but I just really love Lyria and Volga's just friendship because we don't really get another like female friendship, I feel like,
Yeah.
as close as that in the series. And so when I was listening to it this time around, I was just thinking like it is just very refreshing and it's so nice to have like she's worried about her friend and she's like, oh, my friend might have gone dark side and that's a terrifying thought, but she's still going to come to her defense and be like, you don't understand. This is not like her. She's actually like this, and I love that in books so much. And I love to see that here too, amidst all the heartbreak and sorrow and battles and intensity. We just have this really nice friendship between them. I just really, chef's kiss. Love that.
Yeah. That's a good call out of you're right. Like Victra and Mustang are not close. Victra and Holiday.
Yeah, though they
Holiday
are
is just the bodyguard.
closer.
They're getting closer,
Yeah.
but
it's definitely not.
But it's not as
Lyria
as strong.
Exactly. Yeah. As Lyria
Like
and Volga.
Lyria and Volga would go see the Barbie movie together for sure. Like, that's in
Yes.
my mind. I was like, that would make sense, and that's the only one that I can think of. So.
Victra and Mustang would go watch Oppenheimer together.
They
Yeah,
would.
oh, yes, they would.
So much.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's a great call out. Love that. Holiday would love Oppenheimer as well. Can you just like picture Holiday during Oppenheimer? But also, I feel like Holiday would have a very secret like love of Barbie. Of like, I don't want to talk about
100%.
it, but it's
I
like
think
secret.
Holiday would be bored as. No. Okay, Holiday. Yeah, you're right.
think
Holiday
she's
would
the-
love Oppenheimer. Trig would be bored as shit in Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah, Trig is Team Barbie.
All the way.
I'm
all
gonna
the
say
way.
I'm trying to think who else would be. I feel like Cassius would be over
Barbie.
Oppenheimer. He's
Barbie.
Team Barbie. He's hardcore.
Barbie.
He is Ken.
He is Ken.
I was
Ken.
just about to say he is Ken. 100%.
This is
I
a
haven't seen it
total.
yet. I need to.
Oh my god, you need to.
Sorry.
Total tangent. We're gonna just go on a Barbie tangent. Okay. Also, let me bring out. I got this for Christmas.
Let me see.
Speaking of
This is
Barbies,
Skipper. It is a Skipper doll of me with a Skipper hat. So it's like Skipper.
That is
Skipper. This
so
is from Jabs. This is the
cute.
best thing I got for Christmas. Somewhere I also have like a more eccentric hat that's she didn't kill her husband, but it doesn't actually fit on her head. Because she didn't kill her husband and I didn't kill my husband, for the record.
yeah. Why don't you show the folks what's on
Oh yeah.
Skipper's shirt?
You're right. Okay, so the front we get the Den.
It's so cute.
And then the back we get Fade to Obsidian and it says Skipper.
Aww, I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Creative.
Jabs.
That was such a good idea.
Thanks,
Brilliant.
Jabs. But my only thing is, it has absolutely nothing to do with Red Rising, but just I learned today that, oh, I'm losing the hat. If you're gonna watch Barbie, to watch every time, watching a different Ken, because they all play it so differently and so great. But Ryan Gosling is not actually stereotypical Ken. He is Beach Ken. Scott Evans is who is stereotypical Ken. Just for the record.
The more you know.
Yeah.
And this is the Barbie fun fact segment of the show.
Yes. Brought to you by
There you
Skipper.
That should be like a fun little Patreon thing. Is which characters what would they see, Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Oh my god, yes.
Ooh. Yep.
I love it.
There you go.
Write that down.
Magnus,
write that down.
Here we go. It's being written down.
Thanks, Magnus.
Over there, he's taking a nap. Poor baby.
Sounds like a lucky man.
Yeah, I think.
Well, he's still high on medicine from the vet, so he is very lucky in this moment.
For those who don't know, Magnus is a cat. Just so we haven't
Magnus
said that
is a cat. He's not named after the Magnus. That was just a funny little coincidence. Just so we're not frightened of my cat.
Okay, thank you. I'm just now like.
Has your cat glassed a moon?
Not that I'm aware of, but he does spend a lot of time here by himself, so that's entirely possible.
Yeah, we don't know.
So I'm hearing that's not a no.
I have pictures of him taped to my wall, and I don't know if you can see the one with the glowy eyes. Let me see if I can get it, because it's important. There we go. He's always keeping an eye on things.
Oh my god, I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
That's great.
Always there. Watching.
Okay, I have to ask the question. Daddy Amadeus, is he Barbie or Oppenheimer? Or is he the person... I think he goes...
Daddy Amadeus is Barbenheimer.
I
think he goes to Oppenheimer, but wants to see Barbie. Like, he goes with Lori to Barbie and pretends 100%. That he doesn't like Barbie, but he fucking loves Barbie. But he's going to pretend that he doesn't like Barbie.
He goes to Oppenheimer because he feels like he's obligated to, but he, like, buys Barbie on Blu-ray secretly, you know?
In comparison to
so he can have the special features.
Ari does the opposite. She goes to Barbie because she's expected to go to Barbie, but she actually likes Oppenheimer better.
Yes.
And they bump into each other in the hallway.
In the hallway. And then just Barbenheimer together. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Love it.
I fixed my book. There we go.
All right. Back to Severo and Lyria. They're having their heart-to-heart, and they are looking out over the ocean, in which we get our first glimpse of the Leviathan.
A Leviathan.
A Leviathan.
We find out that it's
mid-sized.
not even
There's
like,
more.
yeah, half-sized, peanuts-sized Leviathan.
It's not a baby, but it's mid-sized.
Middling.
The middling. But it is our first one, and I have a question for Crescent, because when we did our glittering gala, I pushed hard for the Kraken, and you knew that Leviathan was in there. Did it cross your mind that Pierce wasn't answering because of the Leviathan, or do you think that Pierce 100% separates a Leviathan from a Kraken?
Oh, I think the Leviathan is different from a Kraken.
Okay.
Because it doesn't talk about the Leviathan having tentacles.
No. The amount of people while they were reading that sent me messages of what is a Leviathan. And it's genuinely just a large sea creature, but it has thousands, well, hundreds of different interpretations of what that means. Is that just a giant whale? Is that like, so that's where it comes into later. Pierce describes it pretty well, and this is where I would love to have Joel's perspective. If he actually... Sometimes Joel doesn't always interpret off the books. We love you, Joel, but sometimes it doesn't match. If he interprets off the books of what Pierce has written. But I think that would be a lot of fun, but a lot of people messaged me being like, what is a Leviathan? And I was just so obsessed with the Kraken that I wondered if Pierce never answered whether or not we'd get ever a Kraken. He said it was Schrodinger's cat.
Oh, you're right.
He will not confirm or deny. And then the Leviathan.
Kraken,
yeah. And then the Leviathan showed up that I was like, ooh, other giant sea creature, and was he just scared to maybe accidentally give away Leviathan one way or another?
Covering his tracks.
Who would win in a fight, Leviathan or Kraken? No, we're not getting into it.
Who, sorry?
Leviathan or Kraken.
We're not getting into it.
We're not getting into it. It's the Kraken.
That's a whole other...
But we're not getting into it. It's the Kraken.
I always thought the Leviathan to me... The Leviathan to me, I always think of... it's a Disney movie. Atlantis.
Oh,
with the little robot thing. So I know that's not what it is in the book, but every time I read that word or I listened to it, I'm like, Atlantis. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure this is much scarier than a little creepy little robot scuttling around.
Certainly sounds like it.
Leviathan is the name of the largest roller coaster in Canada. So whenever I read it, I'm like, I've been on the Leviathan.
You would ride the Leviathan.
I was about to say.
And the Behemoth and the Yukon Striker. Wonderland. Give me season's tickets, please.
Sponsor us.
Come on, Wonderland. Leviathan is
literally anybody sponsor us.
Yeah, I think it's the longest roller coaster in Canada. Not to be confused with, never mind, we're not getting down to roller coaster lore. We're not doing this road. Anyway, I have ridden a Leviathan, quote unquote.
You've done something Ragnar hasn't.
You're right. Oh my god.
But
jaw drop.
But sea dragon butt. Because he cut right off the Ragnar.
Yeah, which is a whole thing that we had of like...
Damn near killed him.
Oh, God. I caught that one before editing. That was a whole discussion we had of what is the sea creature. Because that's what ended up starting the Kraken debate, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've gone on so many
Ragnar just called it a sea demon.
A sea demon.
I wouldn't know what to do if somebody was like, hey, so there's a sea demon, and one day I'm going to ride it. I'd be like, live your dreams.
Yeah.
Good luck. Man. I'll take pictures on the side.
Yeah, how do you right? Like, I'm thinking current day sea demon that would be rideable would be like a killer whale, an orca. Like,
Blue whale, probably.
yeah, but
Or
I
like a
wouldn't call
sperm
that a
whale.
demon. That's not a demon.
What
You
about
gotta
that
get the
mega
demon
squid?
one.
Oh
But you
yeah,
can't
Ride the
ride a
mega
mega
squid?
squid.
the big
Like,
fin
so what
squid.
I'm
is
sure
a...
you could. You can
I'm
find
trying
a
to think of
way.
something that is
Saddle
both a
up.
demon and rideable, and I'm coming with orca, and even that be fucking difficult.
Great white shark.
Oh, that's a good call. That's a good call. Great white shark would also be a sea demon that's rideable.
Can and should are different things, y'all. Like,
They're gonna discover some
We're going to the
horrendous
East
creature.
Coast. We're going to the East
They're
Coast
gonna
so I can
discover.
ride a great white shark.
Oh God. They're gonna discover some horrendous
Join our
creature like
Patreon.
tomorrow, and then we're gonna have to go back and be like, "Just kidding. This is the sea demon in actuality." Because these are
don't
okay
you put that
answers. There's
eagle
got to
on
be
a turkey
something
buck.
better out there. The ocean is big.
Megalodon.
Oh
Yep.
yes.
We
Might
are
be
on
possible.
so many tangents this episode. The
Hey,
We're on nothing
ADHD
I'm here
is
for it.
strong on this one. Yeah, I just love our submarine. But before that, we get to just to go back to the actual Leviathan. Whose family crest is it?
Calabar.
Calabar. Because we know it's
The
like
ruling family of Europa.
yeah.
Now that apparently the Arcos family has disappeared.
Aww.
Well,
Okay.
they're in the Republic now.
Yeah.
They've left Europa.
But yeah, so I just continue to love all of the crests. So Jupiter, well, the rim in general, the families we know have really leaned into the carving. Like, so the rim, it's like,
Yep.
I'm a lion, I'm an eagle, and the rim is out here being like, I'm a dragon, and I'm a leviathan. We
Yep.
also, I will say, get the discussion from Severo brings up unicorns, and Lyria wants to write a Pegasus, in which
Severo's like,
Severo is like, you don't fucking want to ride a Pegasus.
No.
You met a
Like,
Pegasus?
No.
I just love that Severo's ridden or has at least been around a Pegasus enough to be
That's-
like, fuck
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I was
the Carthii raised carnivorous Pegasi.
There's a story here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
if
Carthii
Severo
are batshit insane.
and if Severo's not gonna do it, you know it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So anyway, wanted to just bring out that little bit of tidbit. All of my little mythical creatures. I love it so much. Okay, now submarine. So we know Cassius isn't coming with us because you should not take your escape ship under the sea.
Under the ocean.
He also knows that he would not be appreciated down there.
Yeah.
Because he
You kill one terrorist warlord.
I was just about to say. Yeah.
So everybody else gets loaded.
I mean, he's at least self-aware.
Yeah.
To a point.
But yeah, he gets loaded onto the submarine. And they're all hanging out, and this is where my drink that is gone comes into play. Of all the different, we're entering Twilight, we're entering, and then into midnight, and that's where it gets dark. And we get Lyria self-reflecting. Lyria says about, like, I wish my nephew could see this, and, like, you can't see much, but...
Yeah, she's very focused on, I have to remember the sights so I can describe them to Liam.
Yeah.
Speaking of
That's
Liam,
so sweet.
Ori is doing basically story time for all the refugee children.
Oh my god!
And the one little boy puts his hand in Lyria's and reminds her of Liam. There we go. Words are hard.
Yeah.
They certainly are.
Yeah, which then we get Ari is freaking out on the submarine, and it's Lyria who gets to reach over and grab for the hand, and Ari is quick to accept it. And the
Lyria's
How
been
long has
waiting for
golds
that.
are getting tired.
long has
Big
Arya been
yawns.
away from the daughters? I can't remember.
Ori's been away
It's
for
it's been a minute.
well over 10 years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
So it'd be. I mean, again, like times that are a changing. I'd be terrified because
Yeah.
you don't know who the people are. You knew who they were in the past, but you don't know who they are now. You know,
Well, and
she's
as
got
far as we
a right to
know,
be a little nervous.
I get the impression that she only really knows Athena.
Yeah, and she doesn't
That's
really know her
no.
personally, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's been deep ops, so
Thank goodness she has a handle,
yep.
a sweet
Well,
friend along the
she
way.
needs it because the golds suddenly start yawning. And it's interesting because this is from Lyria's point of view, in which Lyria calls it out of like, Darrow, something's wrong. You can see that it's the three golds are being affected the most. It is interesting that Severo, it seems like, takes effect after, and I feel like that him being half red, that the other two are yawning immediately.
I didn't even think about that.
It was this
Yeah.
time round that it's the other two are yawning immediately, and Severo's more acting nauseous. Like he's kind of hemming and hawing. He's fine, and then finally Severo starts yawning. Is when she's like, okay, something's fucking wrong. But yeah, him, I don't know. It might just be how he receives the poison or whatever you want to call it. But uh, him being half red, I think half kind of saves him in this moment rather than the other two. Darrow and Diomedes immediately are yawning and tired and but we do know later from Darrow's perspective that he did figure it out slightly before Lyria, but still didn't do anything about it because he wants to remain calm.
I love, not to interrupt, but I
No.
love the pacing of this section because, like, as they're getting deeper and deeper and deeper, you're dealing with Lyria's thoughts and concerns and, you know, what she sees around her. And then it's just like a random little sentence where it's like, I saw them yawning. They took a deep yawn. It's a bigger yawn now. You know, it's sprinkled
Yeah.
throughout. And so that really scratched my, like, English lit teacher brain because it's just like the pacing of like, oh, you don't pick up on something bad is happening until the bad is happening. You know,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say like that's really really good, iconic. Love that part.
Yeah. But and then we get to see both Lyria and Ari being the badasses and standing up for the three golds. Of what are you doing? Pulling the gun, figuring out.
Flipping it to herself with her feet.
Yeah.
Didn't even need Severo's toenails for that.
Okay, but then doesn't she knock
We're
herself
going
out?
back.
She gets hit over the head, doesn't she?
Yeah, somebody
Mm-hmm.
pistol whips her.
Yeah. But she tries. She tries real hard. And Ari at this point is, I think, where we really get that she is on our side. Not us as howlers. So go back to the howlers versus readers. Us as howlers side of what are you doing? Well, this is what Athena wants, and Ori talking through of like, this is not the Athena I knew.
Yeah.
Like,
there you go. 10 years.
10 years.
10 plus years. It can change a lot.
Yep. Yeah.
Dion's
then,
like super menacing in this
She
section.
so is. Yes.
Oh my god.
She's
yeah,
prepped to like kill them. She's prepped to take them down then.
She's ready.
Oh yeah, and like just basically pounding Darrow in the mouth.
Yeah.
And
to the point of when Athena walks on, she's like, "What the fuck?" Like, you've
I
taken
know.
this a step far.
She's the only
like,
one that can stop it.
Yeah.
Athena's a real badass too. I love her introduction.
Yeah.
I love
it's so cool.
her. I wish I had my long hair, or else I would have braided it so it like pools around her shoulders and
Mm-hmm.
then into braids. Like, I just, her entrance is one of maybe my favorite in this series. And I think it works well because Darrow's just waking up from that daze
Mm-hmm.
and being
Mm-hmm.
like, where the fuck am I? Whatever. And this woman is just sitting on the ground. And you know immediately who it is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Yeah.
stated it's Athena for a while, but you know who it is just sitting there talking.
I think it's
And
interesting too that she's sitting on the ground. She's not like standing up staring down at him, because
no.
that would be such a power move if she was.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
just like, we're on the same level here. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah. I mean,
That's a
she does
very
have a
interesting choice.
giant ass weapon next to her.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah,
Can't
Yeah.
deny
Literally a
that.
sword longer than she is.
but I mean, if she can't grab that fast enough, Darrow could instantly kill
Mm-hmm.
her with his hands. What he would do
Mm-hmm.
after that, like, oh, you've killed our leader, now, like, it's not a smart
In the
move,
middle
but
of
he
our little
could do it.
city.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
could
that's how far
underwater.
underneath the sea.
But he
Mm-hmm.
could do it. So a slight amount of trust, or just
Yeah.
knowing that he's not an idiot. But yeah, I do love her introduction, and immediately the amount of like storytelling of, well, we're both reds, and she's like, I'm not red, and goes through of like, yes, I was, born a woman who was not meant for breeding, so they like
Oof.
mutilated her, and then she's put into the mines, and then and so it goes through this whole thing, and it's like, she, I think, is the first person to truly cast off her color
Yeah.
and says, I am a human being. I
I
think.
thought it was interesting. So something that caught me off guard listening to it this time, because in the whole series, it's this debate of, is Darrow a red still? Is he a
Mm-hmm.
gold? And the Reds think he's definitely only a gold now. There's no red left in him. And it's, you expect her to be like, you're not a red, you're a gold. But it's the opposite, where she's like, I'm not a red. And so whenever I got to that point, I guess either yesterday or today, I was like, ooh, that's an interesting. I don't know. It was a difference that I thought was significant, but I'm not sure how I can put that into words. Like, it's something I'm gonna have to think on.
Yeah. No, but that's a good
Mm-hmm.
call out. If you're right, she's the first person who doesn't correct him of what he is, instead corrects
Right.
him of who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Of, I am a human being. Is the first to kind of break down those, because the Reds are still
Mm-hmm.
proud to be red. Lyria is still
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
proud to be red,
Mm-hmm.
but I've gone so far outside my color, but I'm still a red.
Mm-hmm.
Athena, on the other hand, is very much I have worked outside my color, but colors shouldn't. I think she's at the point of colors should not exist.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
transcending the
For
hierarchy.
sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
transcending. That's a good wording of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, and we get the introduction of why Darrow's he's in so much shit. Why the daughters, we knew of, like,
Oh yeah.
well, the docs are there,
But the
and
bill comes at the end.
yeah. And Darrow does say it's like one of his biggest regrets, but you know, it just because it's you live with that guilt every day does not make that you're
Okay.
forgiven for
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm so
I
glad. Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, say, I'm so glad we have this second series, because I remember reading that part where, for the first time, where he sold out the Suns, and just being so shocked and immediately thinking, like, I mean, there has to be some kind of response or retribution that he's going to have to face, and then that never happening in those books. And that
Yeah.
was always something that left me wondering, and I'm so glad that we have this moment in the second series to really explore that, because that's you have to confront that at some point.
For sure.
You know, you can't let your character sit there without some kind of consequence for something that destructive, you know. So thank God.
What I was gonna say is we see a lot, or we kind of really get the evidence of how the path of the veil is changing Darrow, because
Mm-hmm.
immediately after Athena leaves the room, you know, he is instantly full of rage, and you know, the old Reaper, you know, that's where he would stay, and
Mm-hmm.
he lets it pass by, and I was reminded, I don't know who the quote is from. I don't even really think it's a quote, but it's like your first thought to anything, your first reaction to anything is not who you are, it's what you've been conditioned to think.
Mm.
Your second thought is who you really are. And Darrow, in this moment, is instantly full of rage and then calms down and kind of understands that this is how things have to be.
Yeah.
I was gonna say earlier, I feel like the Darrow from, you know, the earlier books before, where he's had this change, I feel like he would absolutely try to grab, you know, the weapon as quickly as he
Threatening,
could. And he
yeah.
would definitely, even though the odds are totally stacked against him, he would absolutely, you know, try to escape or escape his friends. So yeah. I love that he has grown beyond that, thankfully. Such a
Yes.
good thing.
Well, especially for the next chapter, we learn just
Mm-hmm.
how much everything from his past has set him up to, we don't know in this part if he'll succeed or fail, but at least put him to where he
Yep.
is today.
Yeah.
Because we learn that he's going to be on trial. An execution would be if he is found guilty for his crimes, and specifically for selling out the sons or daughters in the rim.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, I don't think there's anything else in this portion. We move directly into that. We get to move to the next chapter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He gets the
he
hollow with
watches
all
all
the,
of his the
Oh yeah, the
hollows
hollow
of
cube.
all of
yeah.
the sons that died. Um,
Oof. Oof.
yeah, and he gets a real kick in the knackers right at the end there. Most shouted a name. I thought it would be Ares' name that they shouted before
Or
death, or
you.
Eo's name, but no, it was mine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Heavy stuff.
Very heavy.
very heavy.
Heavy.
Luckily, they're on a low grav planet.
Oof. Thank God.
Oh.
Phew.
I'm gonna have a drink for that. Well, because then, yeah, so we're moved and he gets shuffled through, like, the auditorium that can hold about 7,000 people, approximately, however many they can fit. There's people hanging out from ever. And this is what then reflects back to what you were saying earlier, Allegro, of, like, there are
Mm-hmm.
people there who never fought under him. They only
Mm-hmm.
remember him as someone who sold them out. And so they
Mm-hmm.
are, I don't think disrespectful is the correct term, because they have every right to be, in a way. I don't know if that makes, you know,
Just unimpressed, I think.
Yeah.
unimpressed. Yeah, as they're making faces at him. Somebody, I think, cocks the gun of the, like, finger guns at
Mm-hmm.
him.
Yeah,
Uh, and I think you're right. Of, you know, there is two people in here: the ones who believed in him and were let down, and the people who were raised never to believe in him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, never meet your heroes, I guess, is the bottom line of this
Yeah.
moment, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, and but I do like that he's calling out who's there, what they're doing. We know Severo is there. Athena already said that Severo is completely safe. They don't have issue with Severo.
Mhm.
In fact, because he is the son of Ares, literally the son of Ares, he is always safe, always welcome in whatever capacity. Lyria is hanging out with Ori in the crowd. And that's
Mm-hmm.
who he sees of this girl from Camp 121 of, if she can forgive me, who else can? And gets his motivation, his inspiration off of her.
Yeah. He's looks at her and yeah, exactly. Thinks this like Lyria is all of these people personified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She is somebody that I have completely let down, and they have suffered because of it. And so, you know, he's essentially making his apology to her as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's so
Well,
true.
she's the one who gives the fullest attention. Or she leans forward.
Yeah,
She's waiting to
and
hear it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's kind of what tips him off, not or kind of makes him think like, or makes him realize that is that she is so rapt, like she's paying such rapt attention that he's like, oh, like she has gone through very similar thing to what all
Mm-hmm.
of the rest of these people have, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
she needs
If I
this
can
too.
get her to listen, they can listen.
Yeah.
That kind of
Um,
mentality.
I
Mm-hmm.
I love that he imagined this speech as though he was talking with Pax there.
Pax. Yeah.
Yes, that's so sweet
And he
and so
hopes that
sad at
one
the
day
same
Pax
time.
will hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he will know that I found myself at the end.
Yes, because he's written himself off at this point. I think he thinks,
Yeah.
like,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you know
like
what?
he's quite
There's
literally
no
just
going back.
confessed to
Yeah.
being guilty of mass murder
Mm-hmm.
and selling out the daughters and like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about the reflection, though, as well, to Severo in Morningstar? Of looking at
yes.
Severo and the speech he gave in Morningstar, which one of my favorite moments of him
Yep.
hanging himself because, yeah, we're going to hang Cassius.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Everything Cassius has done, I have done. And he takes that inspiration of, you know what? Admit what you have done. I have done mass murder, but turns it on them of, what would you have done? Like, you are my
Yeah.
biggest regret, but what would you have done for your people? But I absolutely love that callback to Morningstar. I think as we talk through these chapters, so many parallels to Morningstar. We talked
Oh yeah.
Ragnar in this. We've talked the Docks of Ganymede. Everything in that happened in Morningstar is now coming through in these
Mm-hmm.
specific 5 chapters. It feels.
Yep. Yeah, this is quite literally the reckoning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I should have read Morningstar in preparation for this. Sorry, guys, dropped
Yeah,
the
no,
ball.
you weren't expected to just read 5 chapters. You had to read all of Morningstar
All
and
of
these 5
them.
chapters.
And Iron Gold, didn't we say that as well?
Yep.
That's a long walk, y'all.
You had to read all of Lyria in Iron Gold as well, and
Yep.
yeah.
I'll
All
take
right,
note of
chop
that
chop.
for next time. Read everything. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Absolutely everything. No,
Take the
no.
crescent approach. Just Read
He's just-
everything,
Uh-huh.
cover all your
He's
bases.
just on a loop. How many
Yeah.
times at this point have you read Lightbringer?
I'm still on 4.
You're still on.
I've
Come on,
definitely
Crescent.
I've definitely wound it back. I did re-listen to the first 3 though.
Oh, there you go.
I got one of my apprentices listening through it.
Nice.
Also one of my best friends came out to visit for Christmas, and I told him, like, you've read Red Rising.
Yeah.
It only gets better from there. And
So true.
why don't you try audiobooks? Because he has a really hard time like sitting down and reading them. I was like, try audiobooks. Yeah, he finished Golden Sun the other day. I haven't asked him if he started Morning Star yet. But he said he was choked that he couldn't start Morning Star on his drive to work. So I imagine that he has.
Ooh, yep. I found this is early December, the message from my brother-in-law asking, and it's so funny. Let's see if I can find it. The wording of it is so, like, clearly he had just finished Red Rising.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I am in need of a book, or whatever, like, his wording is. And then I was like, does it happen to be a golden one? Like, I never, in it, we do not say that it's Golden Sun. But I do have a clear memory of, I lent him Red Rising. Then he asked, like, I need Golden Sun, gave him Golden Sun, and he marched in Christmas morning and was like, hand over Morning Star now. And he had, at the time, how old would his kids have been? Oh, like 8, 10, and 12, maybe younger than that. And he ignored Christmas morning of his kids opening presents from Santa so he could read Morning Star. Like, he just, all day.
Wow.
We have pictures of him sitting in the corner reading Morning Star, and his kids, like, we always do,
Wow.
like, a Christmas hike, because I live in a very wildernessy area. So they always do, like, a Christmas hike and stuff. He did not go. The whole family went, and he had to stay behind and read Morning Star. But anyway, I found the message from him of, like, I am in need of a, like, but, like, says it in such a weird way, and then my, like, reply is like, does it happen to be a golden book you need? And he's like, it does. It does happen to be, like, it's really funny back and forth. But yeah, that's how we get them. The key is to get
Heck
them
yeah.
into, I think, getting them into Golden Sun, because then
That's
it hooks
the
them
key.
to Morning Star.
That is
and
the
then
key.
you do have to hook people back into, we had this discussion this week in the den of people are not always hooked into Iron Gold. So trying to convince them through Iron Gold to get to Dark Age and Light.
That one's a struggle. My roommate, he's really into the same books that I am, and he's really into Game of Thrones. And so I finally got him to read Red Rising on the basis that I said it's kind of like Hunger Games meets Ender's Game meets Game of Thrones later on in space. And so he was like, fine, I'll try it. And he's borrowed my Golden Sun copy and has yet to start reading it. And every day I'm like, hey, have you started the book yet? I think you should. And he's getting really annoyed at this point, but it needs to happen. I think I'm the only person in my state that has read this series, and it's very lonely. So I need somebody else to get on board very quickly.
So if he
I
likes
felt very
Golden-
much the same until I
Yeah, you just
forced all of
converted.
my friends to read it.
Absolutely everybody in Saskatchewan has now read it because you've just converted
Obviously.
the entire province. Tell him, if he's read Game of Thrones and loves Game of Thrones, that Pierce was on the football team and got in trouble because he fell asleep during practices because he would stay up too late reading Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. I will give him that tidbit because he's listening to the Game of Thrones audiobooks right now.
Ooh,
Shout
we
out,
should-
Greg. If you're listening, you're not, but he's listening to that right now.
They're
And
terrible.
so,
Make them listen.
yes, he tells me all about them. I'm like, I'm good, thank you. I don't need to know.
They're the type. I've done the Feast of Crows audiobook, and that was what turned me off of audiobooks for so many years, because it's that, like, and then the woman is speaking, and you're like, oh, don't do that. So tell him to get onto the Red Rising audiobooks, in which Tim Gerard Reynolds is just
He would love that. There you go.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to tell him that we talked about this, and maybe that will get him to switch, finally.
Call him out. Do you need me to make this into
Yes.
a reel and we'll call him out on Instagram? I'll do it.
No, he would hate that.
We can tag
He
him.
would move out.
Tagline! All right. Back on track though. Lots of mirroring to Morningstar, but one of my favorites is that it is Severo's epic speech saving Cassius, is how Darrow attempts to save himself. And then I like that Diomedes then has to follow up. And
Follow
In
up
typical
that.
Diomedes fashion.
but like it does such a good job of this is not the
Oh, yeah.
world I was taught would be
hmm
our contract is broken.
Yep. The contract is broken. Take your due.
I love it. Like
God, again, such a good
we're
ending
just
line.
fanning ourselves over
A daddy
Diomedes.
is nothing before the storm.
Just fucking love
Oh
Diomedes.
Lord.
That's pretty much it. Any thoughts, feelings, emotions? You know what we skipped completely over? Lyria and Cassius. We talked about him calling my girl,
Yeah.
and we don't know who it's for, but then we kind of danced around. He, calls her out if you have to continue cleaning the washrooms, because that was not. But, like, the kiss on the cheek, you cement the two friendships. Him giving her, I really love, he gives her the flask and she shakes it and there's clearly a lot missing and he's like, I just needed to taste it. But
I need to make sure it was good enough for you.
Yeah. But
that's my vibe.
Have you drank every drink I've drank? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, and like her immediate overwhelming urge to protect him.
Yes.
Because
so sweet.
she calls his heart too fragile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just such a good and unexpected pair. Like, I love them so much.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, I think we've said this before, that even Pierce called that out. It was not supposed to be written, and then he had the two of them standing in a hallway together and was like, these two would get along so well. And just, like, immediately knew that what he had to do was have them have a conversation. It's just so great. The other pairing that we did not talk about is we now have confirmation of the Ori Diomedes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The
and
situationship.
Darrow's got a very
I just learned the term situationship. I've just learned that term. I know. I'm late to the party.
I love using that word.
I'm sorry. I'm late to the party. But they are quintessential situationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite words.
Darrow calls her out of like, is it love? And Diomedes has replied about what, you gotta pull the quote.
He's already on it. I can tell.
You're supposed to be highlighted. There it is.
Drum roll.
Yeah. It's love then? And he once told me that love which obstructs duty is not love. It is an addiction that must be denied. Maybe he was right. And Darrow says, no, he's a noble idiot who was brainwashed by a military cult and somehow still turned out to be a decent man.
We love them.
Love it.
Okay. So I think I called this out at some point of people use the raw quote from let's go back to Morningstar. It's our book. This episode is actually about Morningstar. Surprise! We tricked you.
We tricked you all.
We thought.
Aha!
But the Romulus quote, and everyone thinks it's the most romantic thing.
Gold.
Oh, is that Iron Gold? You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, it's right before he.
Yeah, he dies in Iron Gold. You're right. And I do not find it romantic. I'm like, it's so toxic. If people were like, because I know the context of it, that I was like, I do not want to hear this. And we hear Diomedes kind of almost repeating similar toxic beliefs of like, no, I can't be in love with you because that's an addiction. That's not love. Like, he just, the
Sad.
Raw boys, we love them. We
They gotta
like
get it
the
together.
idea of them. They need to
Mhm.
get their shit together. I mean,
Yep.
we
It's
won't even
past
talk
time.
about Atlas at this point, but the Raw
Please,
boys
let's
need to
not.
get their shit. They need to
Please.
get their shit together. Because they could be. I don't know. Romulus, I feel like his love was wasted.
Ooh.
It's his. I would say
Oof.
his. Yeah, that's another discussion.
Mhm.
We'll have that one. That's a whole
Yeah, that's a
relationship.
Write
discussion
that
for
down.
another
Write that down.
episode.
Magnus, write it
I
down.
feel like somebody has got to chime in for the Raw episode, but
That's a whole other
yeah,
monster in of
and
itself.
we'll do a whole Raw and we'll talk about every single one of them, include Diomedes. So if you want to talk Diomedes, you got to talk Romulus and maybe Atlas. But yeah, we just see that he, I think, grew up not knowing what true love is because his parents are this epitome of Romeo and Juliet. And then we
Mhm.
know in the end aren't, because his mom is like a weird, power hungry. Save it for another episode.
Yeah,
So then,
she's Corish.
yeah, and so we see, and I guess again it makes sense of if he knows he has this feelings, and it's got to be hard to fall in love with a pink, because do you actually love them, or are
I was
your
about to say,
hormones trained to love them?
right.
Uh, but if he truly feels love with her, he's been raised to reject those feelings.
Yep.
So he's going to have these motions of rejecting her.
Mhm.
Any other
Yeah.
thoughts, feelings, opinions on them?
I think again it's another unexpected relationship that just makes so much sense, and I'm excited to see how, like, what direction it takes, you know, in the next couple whatevers. I think that's
Yeah.
going to
If
be
any.
something interesting.
If any.
Fan fiction writers, get
Tune
on
out.
it,
Tune in to
please.
find out.
Tune
Yeah,
in to find
exactly.
out, because we have to end
Next
now.
time.
We
Aw.
don't get to see in the next chapter, we don't get to see the verdict, because this is
Yep.
what the Patreon wanted.
This is a cliffhanger.
Yep. Womp womp.
Here we are.
It is a good
It really is a womp womp.
good chunk of questions. I think my original divide had it, we would not have talked about the battle. That would have been the last one. We would have started with the Severo Lyria discussion all the way up until a few chapters past this. But
I think this is a good stopping point, though, because, like you said, there's
lots
so
to
many
think about.
questions.
Yep.
And it's y'all get to have a whole discussion about it next time.
Well, that's it.
Yep.
You get the
Bond
answer.
will be with us.
Yeah, Bond.
Ooh.
Picks
And
up.
actually, I think they're very short chapters,
Are they?
if I'm not mistaken.
A lot of these in this section are very
13, 18, 10, 17, 9.
Yeah, so that's real quick. So
Shorter than this section.
Mhm.
We are unfortunately recording that before this one goes live, or else it's going to be like, send us other questions. But you can't.
Yep.
Join it. I was going to say join our Patreon. They'll be able to, we'll make them send us other questions.
Yeah, we'll post this early.
It'll be fun. Summit gets to join us after that, and then Hawking.
Yeah.
And then
y'all got a good lineup.
Prepper.
We always have a good lineup.
Prepper.
I think it's Charon to Salem, but there might be somebody in
Charon to Salem, yep.
Yep. And then that is it.
Really
We are done.
solid lineup.
It's
Yeah.
all done.
And then we will open it up. So we talked earlier, we were going to be doing out of context. Watch for the announcements for that in the middle of February. End of February is when we'll be recording those. And
yeah, anybody who's watching this and isn't in the Howler's Den, come hop in the Howler's Den. Because
It's a
that's
lot
what
of
we're doing out
fun.
of context. It's the most fun.
So much fun. Pure chaos. Literally,
It
we
is
called
entirely
comms 2 chaos the other day, is what we named it. Salem and I have been on a back and forth of renaming comms and comms 2 whenever we're bored.
Every time I get on, it's something different, and I'm like, something has happened here.
It's true.
I don't know what it is, but
as we record this,
Okay.
comms 1 is check here first, and
Yes,
comms 2
comms 2
is
is-
then check here.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it works.
it's not wrong.
It's not wrong. You always
Not
check
wrong.
comms, figure out what they're doing, and then go to comms 2. And then check out Quick's question of the day. And then Orion. And then I go through everything else after that. I feel like a lot of people skip Orion, which is the rank up. But as the current number 1 in the den, I am the most posting person. I've taken back my lead. Thank you very much.
Ooh.
Nobody was shocked.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't post a lot today, so we're close enough that Hydro may have kicked me out, but I feel like nah. But yeah, I am your queen, I am your ruler. Bow down, and we'll be fine. On that note, thank you, Allegro, for joining us today.
Yes.
This has been fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was
And
such
here
a fun
you were
experience.
nervous.
Yeah,
I know, I got
don't
it.
know how I was gonna.
And I was like, I'm so nervous. I was like, oh. But this was so much fun, and yes, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on.
Yep, you're incredible. You're welcome back anytime. Any of those things
you
that
have
I did
amazing
not actually.
genius points.
Thank you.
I wrote down 2
Those
of
are
the
the
things that we
territory.
were gonna have episodes on. So if you want like any of them, just let me know.
Yeah. And well, Magnus wrote down everything else, so
Oh
we're
yes,
good.
Magnus
Oh,
is
perfect.
mine.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm editing, I'll write them all down. It'll be fine. I have to rewatch all of these episodes, so.
How fun.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. We appreciate you all. Check out the Howler's Den. Check out our Redbubble. Check out howlerhollow.net. Yeah, merch and some other fun things on there.
Jess Lost in Books on Etsy.
Yeah.
And if you're so inclined, come check out our Patreon. $2 a month gets you everything but a postcard from me.
Yep. $5 a month gets a postcard from Crescent. $100 a month. I'll think about it. Oh, what were we going to change that to? $50 a month gets you a chess match. Is what we were going to change that to.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on right now
Ooh.
and change that. So right now, if you pay $50 US a month, Crescent and I will play chess for you. Why?
Crescent will lose brutally in chess to Skipper.
Why? Nobody knows. But we're doing it because...
Well, no, our patrons know. Our patrons know. If they watch the thing.
Yeah.
And if you want to know, join the Patreon.
Join the Patreon.
There you go.
Third secret thing.
All the secrets will be revealed.
Secrets. Chess playing. We'll have to do I feel like every month we should change it of this month it's pay this and you get special. We'll eat dinner with you. It'll be fine. That'd actually be fun.
Discord
That'd
dinner.
That'd be kind of cute.
Discord dinner.
Den dinner.
Den
dinner.
$50 a month. Den dinner.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one.